This is Apple's latest and greatest, the iPhone 11 Pro. And this is Google's latest and greatest, the Pixel 4. In this video, we're gonna compare and contrast these two flagships, talk about their strengths and weaknesses, and hopefully by the end of the video, you'll have a good understanding of how these two phones stack up against each other. And a big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Let's start with the hardware. This is the iPhone 11 Pro in Midnight Green, and this is Google's limited edition Oh So Orange Pixel 4. The iPhone 11 Pro comes in two sizes, regular and max, and the Pixel 4 also comes in two sizes, regular and XL. But the iPhone 11 Pro comes in 4 colors, and the Pixel 4 comes in 3 colors. Both of these phones have a matte glass finish on the back, but when I'm touching them, the iPhone definitely feels like frosted glass, whereas the Pixel, it has some sort of covering over it that kind of makes it feel like a soft, touchy, rubbery kind of feeling. If you've held a Pixel 4, you'll know what I mean. In terms of storage, the iPhone 11 Pro starts at a laughable 64 gigabytes, skips the 128 option, and goes to 256 or even 512. The Pixel 4 also laughably starts at 64 gigs, and then only goes up to 128. You could argue that Google Photos will offset this storage issue, but in the case of the Pixel 4, you'd actually be wrong. The Verge reports that Pixel 4 owners will not get free unlimited cloud storage for the original resolution of photos and videos. That is a huge bummer. It was a great selling point for the previous Pixels. For iPhones, you can get iCloud storage, and that costs money. Now, speaking of photos, these flagships take excellent shots. I compared both of them during the day and at night and came away very impressed. I do like how the Pixel 4 has a dedicated night sight shooting mode inside the camera app, but photos do take a couple of seconds to capture. And you cannot change the exposure time on the Pixel 4. On the iPhone, night mode turns on automatically. There's no dedicated mode for it. But you can change the duration of the exposure, and I like that. In terms of video, both cameras can shoot 4K with the rear camera. Both of these are shooting at 4K 30. iPhone's over here, Pixel's over here. What do you think? The story is not the same with the front camera though. For the first time ever, you could shoot 4K with the front camera. This is the iPhone 11 Pro. Whereas on the Pixel, you're limited to 1080 with the front camera. One thing you've probably noticed by now are the eerily similar camera modules on both of these phones. Did Google copy Apple? I don't know why Google chose to design the camera bump on the Pixel 4 to look identical to the camera bump on the iPhone 11 Pro, but here we are. But even though they look really similar, they're actually different. Google's camera system only has 2 lenses, a standard and telephoto. The iPhone 11 Pro also has a standard and telephoto, and a third camera, an ultra wide. I like that Apple includes the ability to easily change between the cameras, whereas on the Pixel 4, you just get this slider. You can't really select between the two cameras. But the Pixel has a brightness slider and a shadow slider, and does something called Live HDR+. So what you see in your viewfinder is what you're gonna get in your photo. Personally, I am a big fan of the ultra-wide camera in the iPhone 11 Pro. I like the variety between the lenses, and I bet that we'll see an ultra-wide lens in a future Pixel, maybe the Pixel 5 Pro. Speaking of Pro, the Pixel 4 has a few pro features that I consider pro, that the iPhone 11 Pro doesn't. First, it's got a USB-C port, and funny enough, a bunch of Apple's products use USB-C, except the iPhone is still using Lightning. Maybe next year. Another pro feature that the Pixel 4 has that the iPhone 11 Pro doesn't is a high refresh display. If you've never seen a 90 Hz display on a phone before, you'll be really impressed with how smooth and buttery everything looks and feels on the Pixel 4. You cannot tell in this video because I shoot at 24 frames per second. But Google is launching the Pixel 4 on all major carriers here in the US, so you can go to a store and try it out for yourself. Another standout feature that the Pixel 4 has and the iPhone 11 Pro does not is a radar. For the first time ever in a smartphone, Google has baked a radar into the forehead of this phone, which can be used for a variety of things, and we'll talk about them in a second. It also means that the Pixel 4 will not launch in India, but that is an entirely different story. Google calls this tech motion sense, which means you can gesture in front of the phone to trigger certain actions. It doesn't work perfectly all the time, and you could argue that it's gimmicky, like changing Spotify songs without touching the screen. Will I ever use that? Probably not. It starts to get cool when you go to dismiss an alarm, for example. The phone detects your hand and will immediately lower the volume of the alarm. Pretty cool. Where motion sense really impresses me is with face unlock. The Pixel 4 has the fastest face unlock I've ever used, and it does not require you to touch or tap the device at all. The radar senses you lifting up the phone to your face gets scanned, and then the phone automatically unlocks. Whereas on the iPhone 11 Pro, you can use raise to wake, so the display will kind of wake up. It'll recognize your face, but then you need to swipe up from the bottom to actually get to the home screen. Again, if your Pixel is just sitting on your desk and you lift it to your face without touching or tapping or sliding, the phone unlocks right to your home screen, and it is fast. However, there is one big caveat here. As it stands right now, the Pixel 4 does not require your retinas to use Face Unlock, so you can unlock your phone with your eyes closed. Apple has a feature called Attention Detection, which sounds like what it is. You need your eyes to unlock the phone. I think Google can easily circumvent this by just issuing a software update, and I hope they do. And speaking of attention, one way to get yourself noticed is with a great website. Whether you're launching a business, you're a musician or artist or entrepreneur, you should use Squarespace, the sponsor of this video, to build yours. Go to squarespace.com/Sam Sheffer and use promo code Sam Sheffer to get 10% off your first purchase. I've had my website for years, and it's gone through plenty of iterations thanks to Squarespace's beautiful, easy-to-use templates. There are a lot of them. I prefer Squarespace because it's an all-in-one platform, meaning you never have to update or install anything, and Squarespace has award-winning 24/7 customer support. Also, Squarespace makes it easy to set up effective email campaigns. So if you're launching a product or want to announce something special, Squarespace has you covered. Squarespace's backend has rich analytics, so you can drill down and see who your audience is and where they're coming to your website from. Start your free Squarespace trial by going to squarespace.com/Sam Sheffer and enter promo code Sam Sheffer at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. I think it's also definitely worth mentioning the battery in both of these devices. Although they are very similar in size, they have a different battery capacity. Oddly enough, the Pixel 4 has a smaller battery than last year's Pixel 3. This has a 2800 milliamp hour battery, whereas the iPhone 11 Pro has a 3190 milliamp hour battery. Both phones do support fast charging, but you cannot argue the physical size of a battery. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Pixel 4 versus the iPhone 11 Pro in a nutshell. Sound off in the comments if you're already rocking an iPhone 11 Pro, or if you're ordering a Pixel 4. I'll be testing the Pixel 4's camera over on my Instagram, so go ahead and follow if you want to see sample footage and photos from the Pixel 4. Thank you for watching this video, and I will catch you next time.